welcome to our show. We have a guest here who has been singing for several decades now. He started singing professionally in the mid-70s. He was born in 1957, 16th of September, and he's based in Dhaka, Bangladesh. His name is Mac Haq, Maqsoodul Haq. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Hassan. Hi.
You have been singing since mid-70s as far as we know. But of course you started singing even before then. How did it start and how did you become interested?
Actually, I grew up in a musical environment. My family encouraged me to listen to music, and somehow from my childhood I was very attracted to music. And of course, I never had a music teacher or a guru or any of the sort. My teacher was the radio. I come from the radio generation. In the 60s, they had all kind of music coming in on radio. And of course, every weekend we also have what is called a world music. So we had a taste of from Beatles to Elvis Presley, you name it, B.B. King, everybody. So back in the 60s, this, of course, was a very, very fundamental. Radio was fundamental in my appreciation of music and mimicking English and Bangla song and the wide range, all the Western greats of 60s, and that was the golden age. On the other side, Bengali music, from Tagore to Rabindranath to modern Bengali song to folk music. So my canvas, as far as my listening is concerned, was huge, and it still is. So it's how much you listen and how much you understand different music forms, whether it's English or Bangla is immaterial. It's like as long as you understand the forms and you enjoy it and you can try to do something with it in your own language. I think that's been the most fulfilling journey of my life.
You started with feedback, or how did you start?
No, I was with a very small band called Fiasco, and it actually ended in a fiasco because we didn't know how to carry on with the band. We were just out of college and getting into university. And Feedback, of course, were already an established band by the time I caught up with them in 76, 77. And they heard me singing in one show, and then, in fact, they asked me to audition with them. And that was in actually 76. And I auditioned with them, and in those days, our employer was Hotel Intercontinental, an American hotel, and they somehow liked me. And I became the lead singer for Feedback. But for 11 years, it was just covers. I mean, we were doing everything from Boney M to Bob Marley. We were doing from rock, blues to reggae to jazz. We were doing almost all kind of music. So that 11 year, I lapped up. Not only I didn't lap up world music, I started performing cover music. So it was, and of course it was all cover. It was all English.
You mostly, but in Bangladesh, you are well known as a Bangla singer. But you used to do English numbers as well.
Yeah, Bengali came in much later. In fact, I was an English language singer right until 85 actually. And even when Feedback did its first Bengali album, I was not in it because I had this snobbery, serious snobbery. I didn't think much about Bangla as a language or Bangla as music anymore. I wasn't really interested to do anything in Bangla. I was quite an westernized or even probably Americanized Bengali with a huge snobbery.
Very arrogant of you.
Yeah, and I would hardly speak in Bangla. My friends were, in fact, when I started doing Bengali songs, some of my university mates were quite surprised. So, Mac, we hardly heard you speak English, Bangla, while you were in Dhaka University, for instance. I was in the English department. I was a literature student. But then, not only talking Bangla, you're also writing good lyrics in Bangla. This was like a huge shock for a lot of my friends who understood my, like you said, arrogance and snobbery. Yeah, so...
Since we are doing it in English now and we have the global audience, many of you maybe are not very familiar with Bangla music and maybe with the singer that I'm talking to. But how would you introduce yourself to global audience in 60 seconds?
Simple. I call myself a jazz rock fusion musician in Bangla, in the Bengali language. That's it. The music is global. The language is Bengali, and Bengali is the 7th largest language of the world. In fact, it's much bigger than even Hindi, for instance. Hindi is probably the 18th, 13th or 14th, but we are the 7th to 8th largest spoken language in the world. So I don't see any reason I shouldn't be able to reach out an audience, a global audience. I do have a Bengali audience, and it's just a question of the world understanding what Bengali music is all about. And of course, the West has, of course, developed a very genuine curiosity towards Bengali music. In particular, my experimentation with the Baul music. Baul music is UNESCO declared Baul music in 2005 as an intangible heritage of mankind, just not Bangladesh. And I've been experimenting with Baul music since 1995, 10 years before the UNESCO made the declaration. So the Baul music is really the way to go. I mean, it's got a mix of all rock, reggae, jazz, but our own lyrics are there. But then the old messages from 200, 300 years back, which pretty much was so advanced that it talks about Bangladesh of today in context of the kind of hate and other things, and what was an answer 200 years back, and why it can't be put back. That's what attracts me. We have the answer, not only to the problems of Bangladesh, but we do have solution to global problems through the lyrics of, say, Fakir Lalan Shah, our patron saint. What he said 250 years back is still relevant even today, and probably will be relevant for the rest of the time to come.